It's not giving you the option on Instagram for some reason. Here we go.
I'll fix it.
Hmm. Gotta add the camera.
I thought you did this already.
What's that for?
TikTok.
No, I thought I did, but I didn't know how to do that. I thought I shared. You sure that's TikTok?
Yeah, this is
I
TikTok.
shared the
We're live on Restream.
Oh, well, I mean, let's. You have the intro and everything.
All right.
You don't see, you can't tell.
Habari Entertainment proudly presents Habari Live. Habari Live. From Phoenix, Arizona. And you're listening to the Habari Live podcast, the show that brings you news, sports, and entertainment for people who love HabariEntertainment.com. Here are your hosts, Aisha, Jimmy, and Damon Dipleen Ellison. Let's get it going. We are all the way live.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are thrilled to bring you the latest edition of Habari Live, your go-to podcast for the pulse of Phoenix and beyond. Like always, we are all the way live in Paradise Valley in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Damon Dipleen Ellison and my co-host.
Aisha.
And we'll be your guide through the exciting stories and everyday happenings in our vibrant community, your weekly dose of inspiration, innovation, and insightful conversations from the heart of our city. Let's get it going. Yeah, man. It's been a great holiday. Everybody has been great. Happy New Year to everyone. So today we want to introduce Kylie Elizabeth. She's an educator here in Arizona. Um, Welcome to the show, Kylie.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
For sure. She is a truly inspiring guest joining us. She's a passionate educator from right here in Arizona. Kylie has dedicated her career to shaping young minds and making meaningful impact in our schools. With her innovative teaching methods and unwavering commitment to her students' success, she's been a positive force in the education community. So, first, we want to ask you the first question is, how did you get into education, and what were some of the challenges on that path
Yeah,
that you had to get there?
sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. So hi again. I'm Kylie Elizabeth. I also go by the Virtuoso Educator. And so I'm from Wisconsin, and I moved to Arizona about 4.5 years ago. And originally, to answer your question very quickly, I'm kind of like an all over the place type of person, and I'm
Hmm.
never bored. I like to really do a lot of different things. But I originally went to school for music education. I have a vocal music degree background, and I fell in love with the thought of being a teacher ever since middle school. And
Okay.
I sought to teach middle school and high school music through college, and it kind of shifted in a strange situation. We don't have enough time to get into all of that, but I ended up in a career in technical education in Wisconsin, teaching culinary arts. My grandmother had a culinary, a catering business, and I worked with
Uh-huh.
her for 14 years. So with that type of experience in different vocational areas in different states, you can get what are called vocational or experience-based licenses. Here in Arizona, it's career and technical education certification. So I was able to teach culinary arts, and I taught at the high schools for about 7 years in Wisconsin before I moved.
Wow.
Yeah. And so really, I just kind of, the passion for education really was connecting with my music teachers
Mhm.
through middle school, high school, and even my collegiate program, where I really loved the passion that those teachers had for their students, really made everyone feel welcomed. And I ended up teaching middle school musicals for a while and doing
Wow.
vocal lessons and things like that. But yeah, so then I got into family and consumer sciences through that culinary arts pathway. And I
Mhm.
also taught early childhood education and some health careers programs as well. So kind of, again, all over the place.
Wow, man. So you're originally from Wisconsin?
Yes, Kenosha,
Wow.
Wisconsin. Mhm.
What brought you to Arizona?
Yeah, just kind of a shift, change. I actually moved during the pandemic, and nobody told me not to move in the middle of June to Arizona. But my parents, my dad and my stepmom moved here a few years before my son was born. And so I always used to visit, and I really enjoyed coming
Mhm.
to Arizona on my trips. And during the pandemic, I was also completing my master's program.
Okay.
So I do have my master's in education, focused on curriculum and instruction and administrative leadership. And so I really just wanted to kind of start new and start fresh and make that move. I didn't want to be an online teacher, especially
Mhm.
what was happening during the pandemic. It was really tough to kind of watch, especially the seniors that I worked with, kind of, it was really struggle. It was a struggle for all of us. And as a parent of two at the time, I really just wanted to change. So I ended up moving to Arizona. I just up and decided in 2 months that I'm going to make that shift, and sought out some administrative work in education to utilize my master's.
Wow. Wow, man. So who inspired you to become a teacher? What was your inspirations? Do you have a person that you looked up to, or that you wanted to be like, to get into the education realm?
Yeah. So really, my inspirational teachers were my music teachers. Specifically, her name was Miss Tyler. She was my middle school music teacher.
Uh-huh.
And I did have quite a few good experiences in middle schools, particularly in the neighborhood that I was in with the school teachers that were there. And I just again, feeling that love and that passion from those teachers, especially in those fun classes. Not the ones that you have to take because you have to take academics and things like that. But those
Right.
elective classes, those teachers really had a different side of passion that they showed, and I just really enjoyed it. And I wasn't so much as a leader in the sense of I knew that
Mhm.
100% I was going to teach. It just kind of always led that way. And I always had the passion to work with others and kind of share my gifts, I suppose, with others.
Yeah, yeah, man. You are, I the first time that we met you, I don't know if you remember, where we were at one of you guys' is the Archway Exchanges
Mhm.
meet and greets.
Yes.
So, what got you involved with working with them? I know you're a very busy person. You like to stay busy with connecting with the community. But
Yeah.
what were you? How did you get connected with Archwood Exchange and start dealing with some of the things that they're bringing to the community?
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, I work with a bunch of different organizations. When you're moving states, you kind of have to put yourself out there and really get involved with the community. And again, for me to kind of leveraging that background with the catering business with my grandmother. I was used to doing weddings and like large parties and things like that. And I'm kind of a party person. I always had the parties at my house and I always had the gatherings and things like that. So I'm a big person as far as connecting people together and just having a good time. And
Mhm.
so as I was, acclimating myself to Arizona in 2020, I did come across a couple different people and different organizations, and Archwood Exchange was one of them that I connected with, and I just started helping, form some of our events. So I am an event planner as well. So I did a lot of events with Archwood Exchange and at the Grassroots Bookstore. I hosted our annual Black History Month celebration for many years,
Okay.
and just with other different organizations. And I also hosted my first children's entrepreneurship marketplace this past November as well, just to give people different opportunities to focus in on community and bring us all together in different ways, but have a good time. And there are parties at all of those events, so they're fun.
Wow. Yeah, man. That and they are doing big things in the community, man, making a difference out here. I really
Yes.
respect what they're doing. And that's the first time I saw you, speaking publicly and talking to people. But we connected on different conversations and things like that. So I wanted to talk about one of the main discussions that we were talking about, with education in Arizona, and
Yes.
some of the rankings that we see as a state. We're at the bottom at some of these statistics. What do you think we can do to change some of these things? And what do you think the education system right now is doing to help?
Yeah, yeah, that's a very loaded question, and I came prepared with some notes. So, man, I mean, education is so tough to tackle in general. It is very politically based, as we all know. And just kind of post pandemic, there's been a lot of ups and downs in the world of education, but it's not anything new, right? I think just social media
Mhm.
and the technology that we have today really have had for generations in the education system. And for me, it kind of comes down to, not getting so much involved in the politics side of it and to really stay focused on what is the goal. And the goal is to educate children.
Mhm.
And the goal is to educate, anybody who needs the education, if they're adults, or
Right.
kindergarten through higher ed. So for me, really, I think the foundational issues that we're looking at today and what we see, and I see it even with my own children, is the technology use, the negativity around social media, and
Mhm.
students not understanding different things that they're seeing, or they're seeing negative social media or channels, and they think it's normal.
Yeah.
And that leads to a lot of the behavioral issues. Especially in Wisconsin, we just had another mass shooting in schools, in a school, and a lot of this with the bullying and the mental health of our children is negatively impacted about the social media. And
Mhm.
parents really have to be cognizant of what their children are watching, if they have cell phones, if they have tablets, if they have access to computers, and really be mindful that there are a lot of apps that are really targeting children in negative ways, and we have to be aware of those, and things like that, because the bullying does get very deep level. But I've dealt with something personal with my own daughter in her school district around kids intentionally fighting each other,
Yeah.
friendly fades, which is not anything that's old, but it is very much happening. And students are
Mhm.
intentionally fighting
Yeah.
to put themselves on social media for the likes and the clout. And my child's in sixth grade, and this is happening in her district. And
Right.
so I've even had to speak as a parent about that, and making sure that these schools are aware of what is happening. So I advocate a lot on that on my channel and in the discussions that I have. But the schools do have a lot of, bully prevention programs and
Mhm.
things like that. And so that's kind of the bullying side. And I'll keep going on my next point before, if you cut me off, let me know if when I'm talking too much.
No,
But
you're fine.
yeah, so that is really like a big one. And I really advocate again for parents to be actively engaged with their schools, regardless of
Mhm.
your thoughts on education and things like that, because the more involved you are, the more you know about what is going on, and the more you know about what your child is or isn't doing. And you have to be a part of that. It does take a village really to educate these kids. It's not the schools. Responsibility. Education starts at home. I'm a firm believer of that. And we
Mhm.
have to do better as parents in our society to help our students. And if we ourselves struggle with math or reading, take the time to do it for yourself as well and learn what you need to do. Because if you're sitting there scrolling, you have time to sit there and pick up those skills yourself.
Yep.
So, and I'll leave that one there. Um, Another big one that we mentioned and we talked about in our social media exchanges is really about the impacts, especially here in Arizona, how it's listed as the 50th state
Mhm.
that is they're not ranked 50 in education.
Yes.
And what I would like to remind viewers is that Arizona is one of the newest states when you're talking legalities to join the union. um, sorry, I noticed I paused. Okay,
Yeah,
so I noticed that when I moved to Arizona in 2020, that even in the world in current technical education, Arizona was about 5 to 10 years behind Wisconsin. And
okay.
so what we need to do, I think, is, kind of give Arizona a little bit of grace that, hey, they're still kind of catching up. We're a state that's really building, and a lot of people are starting to move here, and they're a
Mhm.
tad bit behind.
Yeah.
But that doesn't excuse the fact that data is data, and they are still behind in academics. And so there's a lot of things in place to help support school systems with academics, especially
Yeah.
around tutoring services. So, there's a grant that from Department of Education that is supporting tutors for students that need it, and things like that. But what people have to understand as well around the data when we're looking at the 50th states is what those indicators are coming from. And those indicators are looking at, school quality. So the
Mhm.
different percentage of teachers who meet, you'll notice in
Right.
statistics, if you look at the Arizona school report card, and you'll see the full state report card, that you only have
Mhm.
about 75% of your teachers are fully certified. But the other side of that
Um,
too is, as of September of 2024, there was about 9,000 open teaching positions still needing to be filled in Arizona.
that is
So a
crazy.
teacher shortage is one of the biggest issues that's not just impacting Arizona, but it is also impacting the United States in multiple places.
So what do
Um,
you think what do you think are the main issues why we cannot get teachers here? Do you think
yeah,
the pay is the big deal that they're not paying equal amounts as other states?
yeah.
Or do you
So
think it's just that we have a public that's not interested in becoming educators?
both. So pay is definitely a thing. Teacher retention and the recruitment of educators is a big issue across the board. The main point in what I've seen, even when I taught early childhood pathways for students
Mhm.
to come into that pathway, is,
Okay.
and I see it as a leader of these pathways here in Arizona, is that students are discouraged either by families, by counselors, by other
Mhm.
teachers that are negative in their school environment
Yeah.
from entering into that pathway.
Yeah.
There is also discrepancies in the time frame that the child has. We have a culinary arts program, right? And the students can get work experience right away. And in station, they have to be a certain 18 or older to enter into this profession. And
Mhm.
a formal certification for teaching is the
Yeah.
teacher certification, which means you have to take higher education courses. And so a lot of that with higher education and those issues can also be an impact. But there is big issues. So the ASU Morrison Institute for Public Policy just published an article called "The Retention Working Conditions for Arizona Educators," and I
Mhm.
sat on their webinar and listened, and they listed all of the different factors that were impacting teacher retention, which is pay issues, health benefits, the workload,
Mhm.
the school lack of school leadership,
Yes.
and then the mental health of themselves as well as the students. So
Mhm.
those were big impacts. And of those, they had about 9,000 educators that were surveyed, and about 69% of those teachers considered quitting, and about 54% consider leaving within the next 1 to 2 years. So it is really a lot on the school climate, and
Mhm.
having to understand a lot and do better.
Look like we have a question over there. No, why are we pausing? Okay, there you go.
Okay,
You paused for a second. It's okay.
sorry.
So yeah, man. I mean, that is the one of the main things I see when I'm looking at the
Mhm.
education system is
Yeah.
some of the issues that we're having with the funding.
Yes.
I see a lot of different things that's going on where the funding is leaving the public school system and they're going into the more into put
Mhm.
into the private schools and even onto the online teaching at home school homeschooling. We did have a big
Yes.
scam where a lot of people were stealing a lot of money from the education system, cheating the system because they are at home educators and they were able to lie about how many students they were teaching and get money. And those were one of the first things that I thought was going to be a problem when I saw this system of taking money from the public school and giving it to individuals. What do you, I don't I know you work for them, so I don't want to get too deep on some of those things, but
Mhm.
what do you think the problems are being how the problems are being compounded with with the funding, and
Sure.
how can we solve any of these things if the funding is being taken away from the schools? How can the
Sure.
schools get better if they're steady depleting on funding?
Sure. That's a great question. It's a little loaded, right? Because Arizona has school choice and the school voucher system, where they can get ESA funds to allow the parents to decide what to utilize, to where to spend those dollars.
Hmm.
Um, I personally am an advocate for those systems because my children, I live in one city, but my students go to school in a different city. So for me
Okay.
to decide where my children go to school because I like that district better, is a lot better for me personally, especially my son who is in special education. And I know that district is going to give them the support
Yeah.
that they need.
Hmm.
Funding of how those dollars are spent has to be monitored very carefully. But what people I think kind of lack to understand is that there is a per pupil funding for each child, right? Each child gets a
Okay.
set allocated amount of
Hmm.
dollars. This is what
Definitely.
public education typically is paid on, but public education is also funded by other federal dollars, that also about the and city taxes,
Hmm.
and things like that. All of those different pots of money put into that school. And my personal opinion is that the money that is there specifically for the child should not dictate what the school can spend on teacher pay, on the supports for materials and products for that school, because the money is supposed to be spent for the child. So again, I am a person for that, but it shouldn't impact if a school can stay open if they're losing student enrollment. And so I think that there needs to be different funding opportunities for public
Yeah.
schools. I'm for all four public schools, all schools, and for parents to have a choice of where they're going, but also
Mhm.
being held accountable that, hey, I am spending, if I'm receiving a voucher, I'm spending this money on exactly what supposed to be used for. It's supposed to
Right.
be used for my child's education. If they have special education needs, they can get those services from somebody. And if
Mhm.
it's being sent to a charter school, right, a private school, that
Right.
private school is doing right by those funds and allocating those funds appropriately. But I don't agree that it does impact negatively the public school system, and
Hmm.
takes funds out of those pockets, because
I
they
mean,
need to find different ways to help support the schools, outside of just the per pupil funds.
yeah, I agree. I do agree. There has to be other ways to get funding, but it seems as though looking at the landscape that we're losing a lot of schools here
Mhm.
over the last couple years.
Yeah,
A lot of public schools are closing,
yeah,
which on term is going to compound the issues with more students.
yeah,
The teachers are going to have
mhm,
more students in the classrooms, more kids in some of these other schools that are probably
yeah,
having issues with their funding.
yeah,
So I mean, we have to figure out a way to get some money to these schools. We did pass, with the big red for ed, that everybody had the
mhm,
movement to try to help to
yeah,
get the educators more money.
yeah,
And I think the Republicans in the state, they blocked it. They didn't want to get
mhm,
that funding to go to them.
mhm,
People see the issues, but we have politicians that are seen to have other things
yeah,
that they think are more important,
mhm,
like critical race theory. What do
mhm.
you think about the focus on things that really doesn't matter nowadays, with people going in on the culture of teaching and trying to blame the teachers for some of the problems that they foresee in the world today?
Yeah, no, that's a heavy question, and I speak about that a lot on my podcast channel as well. I do feel the focus is in the wrong
Mhm.
areas, and but what a lot of people really don't grasp fully is education really is a business, right?
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
school has its own culture. Every district But if the state, if the district doesn't want to follow, they have that choice, right, in certain areas, unless they're getting federal grant funding and things like that. But for me, the focus is wrong. We shouldn't be focused on political ideologies, and we shouldn't be focused on religious ideologies or anything like that. We should be speaking factual things to our students. And I am an advocate that, hey, when we're talking about historical context and the things that people have faced, students do have the right to learn these things in the age-appropriate manner. I think it is about the appropriateness of how things are explained, but I don't feel that we need to be gatekeepers of things that actually occurred in real life, and that should be shared. But I do feel that the attention is on the wrong things. I do know that there are some goals to support academic growth, but again, and I know we're going to get very long-winded here, and we don't have enough time, but there has been current studies and even lawsuits of certain curriculums that are being getting in trouble because they the way that their curriculum is being written, even to teach reading skills, is incorrect. And so when people don't know, our school districts don't know about the actual tools and curriculum that they're using and training their teachers on that are incorrect, and don't have the right evidence-based theory behind it. In practice, this is why our students struggle appropriately certified teachers that understand reading comprehension skills, math, all of those different core subject areas. That should be the focus, I think, is the elevation and helping to catch our kids back up post-COVID, because a lot of people keep forgetting that we had a 2-year
We did.
issue with COVID that even I've recognized. Between my children are 2.5 years apart, and my son was in kindergarten when COVID happened, and he is still playing catch up from and now he's in 4th grade, so a lot of and that's what people have to remember, is a lot of those kids, especially those younger kids that were in elementary at that time, didn't get correct foundational skills to really be in a place where they should be at an academic grade level. And I think too, the issues too with the CDC had also just posted that they basically lowered the expectations of milestones for children's learning. That 15 with the developmental milestones and things like that, there's so many pieces of it that I think, let's put away the politics side, the issues with all of the the gender issues, all of those things, and kind of set that aside and really focus on building those positive relationships with students and families. That's one. 2 is to find other sources of funding for your schools, especially because parents aren't liking what is happening in public schools. So that's why you're seeing these kids leave. It's not because they don't want them to be there. It's because because it's public school. They don't want them to be there because they don't like the climate and culture of the school, and they don't feel like their children is learning, or they don't have the mental health supports that their children need in this world that we're in today. So it's so many pieces to it. And yes, I don't agree that the focus is in the right place across the United States and period.
Right. I mean, it's a big problem. I mean, to fight over things like critical race theory and Black history and things that really doesn't matter when we're trying to teach kids. One thing that I want to, it's a lot I can really discuss. Just so much, but one thing I do, I really disagree with, and you can speak on it how you feel. But the English learner that Tom Horn is pushing right now, trying to get the kids to learn in only English. Do you think that is really helping the kids that do not know English, or do you think that's going to leave some of these kids behind? Because to me, and the way I'm looking at it, if the kid doesn't know English, he's going to have a hard time learning in English. So, what is your view on this? And do you think this is counterproductive what they're trying to do here?
Yeah, it is. Again, I do feel that there are certain supports that are needed on behalf of certain students. Some students may excel in only English learning environments, and some really do need that additional support. I think
Right.
what where the key impact will take place is the teacher themselves, right? The
Hmm.
teacher still has to be bilingual and be able to have that support
Yeah,
between that language
that's
barrier
true.
for our
True.
children,
Hmm.
and to be able to appropriately teach English, right?
Right.
And in the manner that it's supposed to be taught, but translate it at the same time. And so
Yeah.
there's a very big language barrier that could be a potential issue if
Hmm.
teachers do not know what to do in those scenarios, and instead
Right.
of just saying, hey, we're only speaking English today, because you have a student that has no English background, they will not learn anything. and and
Hmm.
and that's just that. And so I do, we have our student population in Arizona, in K-12 is 50%. And so a lot of our students and families, predominantly speak Spanish, but
Yeah.
most I think in this generation of students have been raised here, mostly that are in the schools, and from my knowledge. So, but yeah, I don't think that was something that was a great choice. But again, I think it's just the impact of the teacher and what teachers you have
Hmm.
in the room to really be sure that those students are supported,
Hmm.
and that language barrier isn't going to impact their learning. Because what ends up happening is a lot of students get defined as special needs, or
Yeah.
needing an IEP,
Right.
because, or they're behind academically, when in
Yeah.
essence they're really not. It's just the language
The
barrier
language
that is
barrier.
prohibiting them from understanding the concepts, where if they were
Hmm.
to learn this information in their native language, they would be fine, typically. So I think there's just a lot of things to be careful of with that,
Hmm.
and taking something away that a student essentially needs. I don't think that was a smart move.
No, I 100% agree with you. You were talking about the vouchers. I don't 100% agree with the vouchers,
Hmm.
but I see your point. You opened my eyes to a couple of different things that I didn't think about, but
Hmm.
I'm still on the edge on
Yeah.
on what, because being from Illinois. We the school systems there and the districts there are very strong, and the communities are built, and everything that they do is to make sure that the schools are great, and the districts in Illinois are some of the best districts in the country. And
Hmm.
we really care, and to see the schools in the districts and the areas that we see,
Hmm.
these schools are really doing very well. I went to school in Edwardsville, Illinois, in high school, and I went to school with all the rich kids. They
Yeah.
all went to the same schools. There are private schools, but people have passion, and they really enjoy making sure that the public schools in the area is something that everybody wants to go to. I mean,
Yeah.
I went to which the plumbers are a big deal in Edwardsville. It's a small town, but they own a lot of big construction, if I'm not mistaken,
Hmm.
construction companies. And I went to school with them. I went to high school with the kids.
Hmm.
These kids, riches, I don't know what, but in Arizona, that's rare that you would see the rich kids. They're going to be in private schools.
Hmm.
We don't put the passion and joy into making sure that our schools here are doing well. People get upset. They don't want their tax money going to private to public schools.
Yeah.
To me, it was something that people enjoyed. They really wanted to make sure that the school did well, because if we had a school that was doing well, we know the young kids are doing something and they're
Hmm.
heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So I have to read into it a little bit more and get more educated on it. But I
Mhm.
definitely, it seems like some of these things are the reasons why we have so many struggles here. And
Yeah.
lastly, before we let you go, let's tell us, what do you think the best ways that we can move forward, and what's your plans for the future for Arizona education, and and how people can
Yeah.
contact you, and so on.
Sure. Yeah. So again, with the different movements, right, between schools, you have children in the schools or not. That
Mm.
was a big thing that the elderly don't want to pay for certain districts to even get like different equipments when they put in bills and things. They're like, no, I don't want that because it doesn't impact them in wholly. What people need to understand is the success of our students in education today and the graduation rates and all of those things. These are the next generation that is going to be workers in your community, that are going to lead your community, and that are potentially going to be future doctors and save your life one day. You know what I mean? So we have to invest continuously in education and not be so passive about it. I feel education is very passive from a lot of standpoints, from the top down. And this is why our students are so disinterested in it, because people don't hold it to such a high standard anymore. Teachers aren't, the profession of teaching is not decorated anymore. Like people, look at it like, oh, you're just a babysitter teaching kindergartners, like that, that type of conversation and thought process around education is the reason why, parts of the reason why we are kind of in this place today. So I really urge the listeners to really take heed of that and really understand that, hey, if we don't have a good system in place, that it will impact us future down the line. And for me personally, so I do have my education consulting business. It's called the Virtuoso Education Consulting Services, very long. So I do support some charters, nonprofits, and other small businesses in different administrative tasks and things like that. But I also do event planning. So everybody can reach out to me at the Virtuoso Educator. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. And my podcast is the same tag name. And then you can watch any of my episodes. I have 32 episodes up right now. I'm talking to about different people in education across the United States on all of these topics. And then, you can connect with me virtually, and I can help you out. Or if you want to join my podcast and have a discussion, I'll be resuming those by the end of this month.
Yeah, that I would. Hey, if you I would love to come on and talk anytime. I know you guys do different things, but I was checking it out, and it looks beautiful. The camera work is beautiful. It looks great. I love what you guys are doing, and everything that you do. You just you have your fingerprint on the community, and you just seem like you care. Elijah put in a good word for you. Also, you've been on his show a couple times, and we really appreciate what you do out here, and we hope to connect with you in the future.
Yes,
The
absolutely.
the Virtuoso Educator. I hope nothing but good things for you. And
Thank
like
you.
I said, if it's anything that we can do, to try to connect and get the word out, just let us know, and we'll do whatever we can. We
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
No problem. You have a good rest of your Saturday,
You
and
as
we're
well.
gonna take a quick break here. Thank you a lot, Kylie Elizabeth, for talking with us, and we'll be right back.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Hey y'all, it's Mama Soul's Fish and Chicken, Habari Entertainment sponsor. Let's go get it. Man, this Mama Soul's Fish and Chicken. I ain't never had a piece of fish that tastes so good. I'm not a shrimp person, but they fried shrimps. It's so good. It's so good. The dressing and the greens and the cornbread.
Welcome back. Yeah, man. So we're gonna talk about some things today. We want to thank Kylie for coming on with such an insightful and empowered conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and passion with us today. We really, really appreciate it. And thanks everyone that stuck around and listened to it. Listened to her great education advice and her great educational background and everything she's done to get to where she has. She's a master's degree in education. I mean, it's a big deal, man. Everybody is not taking education as serious as Kylie is taking it, man. And I wish that more people would get involved because our kids, this, I believe the children are the future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. You don't want me to start singing in here.
I figured that's what you was gonna go for. I thought that was gonna be the next thing you did.
Nah, you don't want me to do that. That's really, really bad, man. I can't say that I'm a singer. All right, let's get into some Habari News Weekly, and let's talk about the news. I think it's down. Yeah.
And now, this week's Habari News Weekly with Damon Dipling Ellison.
Oh yes, sponsored by No One A. If you guys want to sponsor any of the episodes, hit us up at info@habarientertainment.com, and we will make that happen. We really, like I said again, thank you, Kyrie. We appreciate you, Kylie. We really appreciate you. So let's talk about some of this news, man. Brought to you by Habari Entertainment. I'm your host, Damon Dipling Ellison. I'm joined by Aisha to bring you the latest updates and insightful discussions on the most pressing topics of the week. This week, story number one. Let's talk about. What are we talking about? Story number one.
Well,
we're talking hot topics that's causing some serious tension within the GOP. Elon Musk clashes with the anti-immigration MAGA activists over the H-1B visa program.
whew, that's right, Damon. Musk recently admitted that the H-1B program is broken and it needs major reform. And he made this admission on X.
Mm-hmm.
He said that it hasn't eased the friction between the tech billionaire and hardline immigration restrictionists who see this as a critical battleground for the GOP's future.
Mm-hmm. Well, executive director of the Center for Immigration Studies revealed to Politico that as many as 3 of his staffers will soon be working in the Trump administration. This is a clear sign of influence groups advocating for less legal immigration will have over the next 4 years. So it's going to be crazy, man.
You're right. It is going to be crazy. One of those staffers, the CIS director of investigations, John Free. He's already serving under Trump's landing team at the Department of Homeland Security, and he's been tasked with preparing the administration for its transition. This alignment shows just how entrenched these voices are becoming within Trump's circle.
Yeah, man, it's the tension doesn't stop there. Jack Posobiec, a prominent MAGA broadcaster, expects Trump to reinstate some of the first-term executive orders aimed at restricting H-1B visas and raising wages for foreign workers, orders that were previously blocked by the courts.
I mean, you're right. These were previously blocked by the courts. However, not all Republicans see eye to eye on this. Republican Brian Donalds, a close Trump ally, downplayed the likelihood of major changes to the H-1B program this year, saying that the GOP's top priority is border security and reparating illegal immigrants.
On the flip side, Representative Tony Gonzalez argued the pro-business wing of the party far outweighs the immigration restrictionists, pointing out that figures like Trump, Musk, and others support the program. This rift within the GOP mirrors divisions happening in the Democratic Party as well.
You're right. Even Senator Bernie Sanders, usually the opposite side of MAGA activists, recently aligned with them on this issue. He criticized that the H-1B program, saying that it's often used not to attract the best and brightest, but to replace well-paying American jobs with low-wage foreign workers.
I mean, you got to think about one thing, man. When they're doing this and they're bringing people over, they're they don't have to pay their health care.
Mhm.
There are certain things that they don't have to do that they have to do if they're hiring an American.
Right. But at the same time, when you look at things like that, people who are using visas such as the H-1B,
Mm-hmm.
they are required, if they have multiple companies that are saying that, hey, we want to hire you, for
Right.
example, right?
Mm-hmm.
That person has to select one company that they
Yeah,
want to work
right.
for. And then they're under contract for X amount of years.
Mhm.
And it can be anywhere
And
from 1 to 3 years.
I don't think they can leave
And
that
they
job,
cannot leave that
unless
job
they go back home.
unless they go back home.
Right.
But they get 1 to 3 years on that visa,
Mm,
and then it does not automatically renew.
right.
So you have to get the company to renew that visa for you.
Mhm.
I mean,
it's a tough situation, man. I mean, where I work, I'm not gonna put them in blast. We have a lot of people coming in with the H-1B, and we have a lot of engineers that are taking over these positions nowadays, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm an engineer, but most of our engineers are coming from India, and this is something that a lot of these companies are doing today. They don't want to pay for healthcare, so why don't we go to a single payer system? But the thing that Elon Musk and crew were saying is that we're not educated enough.
right.
That we like Bart Simpson and cartoons too much, and we're not getting educated. But the thing is, one thing that India is doing is they are educating their people, and they're not making them pay for this.
Right.
See, we have to pay for college here. We have to pay $100,000 to become an engineer. You know, people get paying $75,000, $100,000 just to get a degree. They don't have to do that. They're putting this into their programs. They are focused on making sure that these people know how to program as they're coming up. They're doing it in grade school, high school, junior high. They're making sure these kids know how to program. We're not doing that. That is the reason why we're being left behind. It's not that because we're dumber than these people, and that's what these
Dude show basically called us Beavis and Butthead.
Viva Swami or whatever his name is,
Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah, he calling us dumb. It's crazy. I mean, it's straight up, and you people are aligned with these people. This is what you get. You think that these oligarchs give a fuck about your life? They don't care about you, dog. They do not care about poor people, and they're gonna do whatever they got to do to get whoever they want. He's Elon Musk talking down. He's saying that the system needs to be changed, but at the same time, he was saying that Americans are too dumb. You know, I've already been against him since I heard his stance on DEI talking about black people. Now, this is the reason why he's with Trump, because they aligned on these things, DEI and free speech, to be able to say the N-word when they want to.
Yep.
Now, he likes the Indian people. He think they're smart. He like them. So he wants to hire them. He's going to go for them because his partners is Indian. That's his homies. These are the people that's coming, bringing the educated engineers into the system. This is what they are doing. And India as a country is focusing on this. So if America wants to change this, we as a country have to begin and put the things in place to make sure that our kids are learning how to code at a young age. But we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And we're not going to do that. We're going to sit around and call other people names and call us dumb, say that we're dumb.
Yep.
When these people are not giving us a chance. We should be focused. We should be focused on this as a country. That we should be learning at these coding and computers in grade school, man. Man, I have to agree with you, Tara. That we aren't focusing on what we need to focus on. That's true. But these things come from the top down, man. If the top was saying, hey, we need to make sure that we're putting out good engineers and our kids are being selected for the best engineers, we would do that. But since we are not doing that, it's only the rich kids that's getting these. Get off the mic. Only the rich kids are getting these options. It's not just us. We're not getting the options to be able to do these things. So that makes it unfair. So, it's crazy. But the clash between corporate interests, hardline immigration advocates, and working class voters shows that this is a complex immigration debate has become. The question is, how would these ideological battles shape the next administration policies? It's on you.
I mean, it's a story worth watching, right? And we'll keep a close eye on it. So let us know your thoughts. Should the H-1B program be overhauled, or does it play an essential role in our economy?
I mean, I'd love to hear what everybody is thinking about this, man. Please, hit us up. But it's to me, I have to agree with the people. We should be hiring Americans, man. I agree with Carl. We have a lot of things, man. They basically are bringing these people over here, and I agree. It's a new age slavery what they're doing, and it's a reason why they want these folks, man. They're saving money by bringing these people over. It's not a situation where they're just like so much better than us or so much better than Americans. I have to agree with the people who are saying these jobs should go to Americans. Man, the amount of jobs that we have to choose from in America is getting slimmer and slimmer, man. We are turning to a service economy, so everybody has to get service jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good wait, we're not going a good direction right now. People are getting mad. Why are you making $15 at McDonald's? Because that's the jobs that we have right now.
Right.
It's a shame, man, but these are the jobs that we have. And the people who own businesses like Elon Musk, he don't care about us, that we can't pay for rent. We can't afford food. These Trumps and all these oligarchs, these rich people, man, they just trying to get $1 billion. They trying to get $1 trillion. That's what Elon trying to do.
Yep.
Trying to be the first trillionaire. He don't care about you, that you can't put food on your table. Really, for real. I agree, man. So stick around, folks. Coming up next, we'll dive into another issue making waves. Stay tuned. This is Habari Live.
And now, this week's Habari News Weekly with Damon Dipling Ellison.
All right, man, we're going back into this again. So the next subject we want to talk about was the terrorists. The terrorist attacks this week, man. It was on New Year's Eve. Sad day, man. The videos out of New Orleans were horrible. So sad, man. 14 people lost their lives. 35 people hurt, man. Just very, very sad day. And the first thing that our incoming president does is he blames Mexicans from the southern border. This why people were mad at me when I was saying I don't want what's Carl saying, it's not hard. This is the era of the oligarchs in the U.S. and the billionaires and solidifying themselves by eliminating the. I agree with you, brother. It's going to be two options, rich or poor is what they're trying to do, man. And they're trying to eliminate the middle class, and we're just going to be rich and poor. And they're going to have all, they already have all the money. I agree 100%, man. Blacks are so evil and full of pain. Cat Dog, why don't you say that under your real name instead of being some fake person? So put your name out there and say all this racist stuff. I mean, nobody's being racist. You come on here, man. You come on here with the racist stuff. I don't understand people, dude. We'll talk a lot more about people like you later on, bro. But I mean, you see a black face online, the first thing you have to do is say some type racist comment, telling me to shut up, and then I'm evil. He come on out. We having a good time here. Whatever, dog. I have no time for racist people, man. It's always out of Fort Bragg in Texas. I don't know. They were talking about shutting that base down twice. It's about something about that base, man. I mean, it's true. It's been a lot of crazy stuff coming out of that base, man. I don't know if it's because some of the training the mentality there, man. But it's been a lot of crazy stuff going on there. I have to agree, man. And it's to the connections. At first, you thought that it was a connection between the two, but you see that it was just a coincidence that everybody coming out of this Fort Bragg, man, they need to do something about to making sure that the mental is going on. What's going on with the mental of these people, man, and checking on these people, because something is going wrong. We're going to dive into the shocking, tragic events that have left the nation reeling. First up, the bizarre and deeply troubling case of the Las Vegas Cybertruck bomber, Matthew Livisberger. It's on you.
I mean, that's right, Damon. Livisberger, a former Green Beret battling PTSD, detonated. Sorry. His Tesla Cybertruck outside of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. In a letter released by the Clark County Sheriff's Department, he called the act a wake-up call rather than a terrorist attack.
I did hear from I think it was the sheriff from Las Vegas or something, and he was saying he don't think this had anything to do with Trump. I have to 100% disagree. The dude blew up his car in front of Trump Tower. I agree with you, Carl. I mean, he voted for Trump, but he discussed the oligarchs. He discussed the rich taking over. That sounds like Trump to me, man.
Right.
I mean, who does that sound like to you?
It sounds like Trump to me.
Right. It sounds like Trump and Elon Musk. So to me, what he was trying to portray by blowing up a car that's made by Elon Musk and blowing it up in front of Trump's hotels. To me, the symbolism is that, hey, these are the rich people that he's talking to.
Yep.
Now Elon tried to blow it off online and say it wasn't his. He don't think it had any connotations to him or Trump. But I have to disagree, man. These are the people, man. These are the people that he was talking about. These people who are trying to run this country, man, and the only thing they care about is their pockets, man. So I do not agree with them. I do not think that this guy did this just to be doing something. He was talking about this upcoming administration, period. So yeah, because the military as a whole, for the most part in the United States, is united. This is a real outcry, and people are tired of the rich playing politics. Me too. I agree with you, my brother. I mean, it's so hard for our veterans to get. They can't even get good health care.
Yeah. A veteran was just denied an emergency room visit.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't pre-approved.
This is the stuff that we were talking about.
A veteran was denied care.
Right. How we treat our veterans.
And received a bill for $39,000 because it was not pre-approved.
This is the stuff I'm talking about. Now, everybody want to talk about hey, it shouldn't be about money, but this is what these rich folks are about. They don't care about anything but their dollars. They will let people die. A person who went and laid his life on the line for America should not have to worry about paying health care.
Right.
He should not have to worry about that. But the people on the right, they don't think that health care is something that we should have. That is not a right. They don't believe that.
Someone told me this week that people aren't going to vote for something that they don't think other people deserve to have. And healthcare is something that people don't think others deserve to have.
What kind of piece of shit person you have to be to think that other people do not deserve healthcare just because they're not rich? Well, I mean, for real, dog. What the hell? People deserve healthcare. It doesn't matter if they're poor. Oh man.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a little while. But we're definitely gonna show our feelings on what we think about Trump not being, well, he's going to get sentenced, but he won't do jail time. We'll talk about that. Livisberger's words are chilling. He claimed that Americans only pay attention to spectacles, true, and violence, true. And this was his way of delivering a message. He also spoke about the burden of the lives he took during his services and the loss of his fellow soldiers.
You know, what stands out to me is that his critique of leadership, calling it weak and feckless, despite being a Trump supporter,
Yep.
Livisberger chose a Trump hotel
Mm-hmm.
and an Elon Musk vehicle
Right.
for his dramatic protest. His message to fellow Americans was stark. It's time to wake up. We are headed toward collapse.
The officials also revealed Livisberger's pain, mentioning that he attempted suicide with a firearm before the explosion. It's a stark reminder of the mental health crisis many veterans face today and how it can intersect with broader societal issues.
Absolutely. And now, turning to another tragic story, this time in New Orleans, where a vehicle attack during New Year's Eve celebrations killed 14 and injured 35. Experts are calling this a preventable tragedy.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it's really really sad, man. But the city failed to deploy 700-pound steel barriers designed to block streets and sidewalks, as it looked like the barriers were on the streets in a lot of places, but they weren't up on the sidewalks. So he was able to drive around the barriers and go onto the sidewalks. Even though these measures had been used effectively during events like Mardi Gras, this negligence has sparked widespread outrage from many people, many Americans.
You're right. Couple comments here. We should have had universal health care a long time ago, and our veterans should not be having funding taken from them, especially for mental health.
I 100% agree with you, Kyle. Man, it's crazy that every time we have a shooting like this, we want to start talking about mental health.
Mhm.
But anytime it comes to a point where we want to give universal health care for people can go and can talk to a psychiatrist, they can get some help for the things that's going on. We don't want to do that.
Yep.
We don't want to help them. The rich they'd rather put the money in their pocket instead of giving the money to the veterans to make sure that these guys are getting help. They're killing people. They're losing people. They're dying. These people are seeing the worst shit in the world, man. And we just, all right, see you later. Going back to your normal life. Bye-bye. Like, you think man, these people have seen people die. They need help, man. They need to talk to somebody, dude. And to just put these people back in society and be like, good luck. It's messed up.
Have a nice life.
It's messed up.
That's how they treat them.
Man, I mean, this is crazy, man. I mean, it's been like this since Vietnam and before. People went out there dying, sniffing up Agent Orange, losing limbs, getting blown out of helicopters, and we come home and people booing them. Don't even want to get people health care. Like, man, this is it's
right. We should have been out crying. We should have been out crying about it.
Man, this is crazy.
Nobody has.
This is crazy, man. These people lay their life on the line for us.
And we can't give them proper health care when they come home?
Can't even give them health care. Now, both of these gentlemen, both were in the Army for years and years and years. And when they get to a point where they need help, no one is there for them.
Yep.
And they have no one they can call.
Yep.
You know, we can't have the discussion of mental health about these shootings if we won't do shit about it.
Right.
And we won't do nothing. People going to say thoughts and prayers. No gun laws. We're not going to do anything about that. And we're not going to do anything about the mental health of all these people that we know may be having problems.
Because isn't not just when things like this happen with New Orleans and the Las Vegas attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things like our school shootings, the people who commit school shootings, they're also, when politicians and representatives come on the media, you see, oh, it's mental health, that's a major cause, but we don't do anything about it.
Nothing. We just like to use it for an excuse, but nobody does anything. Why keep bringing it up if everybody's just going to go on with the same consensus and just live their lives?
Right. You know, a 2019 report by Interferer International had already warned New Orleans officials about the risk of a vehicle ramming attack in the French Quarter. Yet, the malfunctioning bollard system was never replaced. And barriers weren't set out until after the attack.
Don Aviv, the CEO of Interfer International, called the failure ridiculous, and Lieutenant Governor Billy Nine-Gresser described it as a complete failure of responsibility. This raises serious questions about the city's preparedness and accountability.
You're right. Kyle said that it's because the right wing lower level groups are starting to understand that their leaders are only out to protect themselves and not America. It's a self implosion happening.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You're right. I mean, these two stories, they're vastly different, but they're still connected by a common theme here: a failure to address systematic issues before they escalate into tragedies. Whether it's mental health support for veterans or proactive security measures for public safety, we can and must do better by our citizens.
Agreed, Aisha. These events are wake-up calls in their own right. Let us know your thoughts of our family. Can we prevent these tragedies like this in the future? What is it that we can do to make this better? Talk to us and bring us send us a message and share your thoughts, please.
Tease 1503 said that universal health care is not happening in America
Oh my goodness.
since the start of privatization in 1930s. It has become a multi-billion-dollar industry.
I mean, I agree. It's a lot of money and a lot of people work for the industry. My old lady worked for the industry. So I understand, but I don't think that the money would be lost if we were able to put the money into a single payer system. I believe that the same amount of money could go to the private companies as they are making today. I just think that if we had a system that the people who don't have the money are covered by the government for the private
We do got a
companies.
system for that. You know what it's called?
What's that?
Medicare. You pay into it every paycheck.
Right.
And if all they had to do was
making
raise
Medicare for all.
raise the amount that you're paying into your Medicare every
Mhm.
pay period,
And then make it for everyone.
and then that takes care of your health care.
Right. So
It's just another tax that comes out of your paycheck that you don't even notice that you're paying for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And the way that they would do it is everybody that works for let's say these big huge health companies like
Mhm.
United Healthcare, Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield,
Right.
those workers would not be working for a private company or a private owner anymore. They would simply convert to filing and doing claims for the government, which is something they already freaking do.
Right. Which wouldn't be a big deal. I mean, just like I said, these private companies would still make their money. They just would get paid differently.
Yep.
And the when they do their filings and their medical records, it would be government records.
Government records.
So I mean, we know many of them that do this Medicare Part B and C
Yep.
and all these. They already do these things.
They already do
So
it.
I don't understand why
It
it's
would be
so
hard
difficult.
to convert because
Right.
now it's like they literally have two different fractions within healthcare companies.
Mhm.
You're gonna have your regular customers,
Right.
and then you got your government claims.
Right.
Everybody, if they did it the right way, all they would do is convert all the claims to government claims, and everybody would process the same shit.
Right. And if if you're able to pay into the system, that's fine. But for the people that can't pay in, we're doing more.
We're
for
covering
them. We're covering them, and that will help a lot of people and a lot of stress that we have in this country right now.
Exactly.
So, I do agree. But at the same time, Carl, it's a tough situation, man. Because if Facebook reports everything that they see on somebody's Facebook post, it's a kind of a slippery slope.
Right.
I do agree that they should kind of, but it's just a slippery slope.
But
man.
it could also be a regular citizen. If you saw something like that posted on Facebook, you could anonymously call it in.
Right.
And give a tip to
It's
say,
just
hey,
tough.
y'all might want to monitor this
How many
person.
people say stupid stuff online?
A lot of
And
people.
then they don't go through with it, or they just
A lot
sitting
of
at
people.
you know what I mean? So
We got a lot of
like keyboard warriors,
Yep.
keyboard thugs, and that's, I mean, it's just tough, man. So you're right. Facebook probably could have did something about it because they saw these posts, but at the same time, man, they probably see so much crazy stuff that how are they going to turn in every single person unless you're maybe you have a pattern that I don't know, man. This is a hard situation. We have these freedoms to have these weapons and stuff to be able to do these things. But when you're talking about thoughts and posts and things like that, it's hard to say
Right.
if a person is really going to do these things or if they're just talking trash online. So I don't know. It's really, really difficult, man, because a lot of people say free speech. You should be able to have the freedom to say whatever you
Right.
want. But also, you speech, it has to have consequences. You can't say bomb in certain places. You can't say, certain threats to certain people.
Right.
So I don't know, man. It's a
And
slippery slope.
Tease, this is what I want to tell you. You're telling me that the problem is because it would be government. Here's the thing. I work in healthcare, and I will tell you this. As a person who has processed claims for government, for our veterans,
Yeah.
and for normal citizens,
Mm-hmm.
government claims get paid more than regular claims do.
Right. But the thing is that most people, most Americans who say they love America and they wave the flag, they have a big flag on the back of their truck, they hate the government. I will never understand this, but this is something that America has going on. They love America. The more you love America, the more you hate the government.
Yep.
It's a weird dynamic, but that's something that we've always had here. These people, they love their country. They wave the flag big, wave it. But when it comes to trusting the government,
and everybody
don't.
having equal access to
It's
everything.
like I make mistakes at my job. They make mistakes at their jobs. It's going to be mistakes, man, because it's ran by people.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They keep coming up with excuses on why they're not reacting on the tips that they're receiving about these people. And when will the excuses stop?
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
It's tough, man.
They can't just go off of one person reporting something that they've saw.
Right.
It has to be several people reporting the same thing.
And it has to be a pattern too, because the police
and a pattern.
They can't
right.
just go arrest every single person and make a dumb post.
Is this person constantly making these types of posts?
Right.
How many times a day do they make this post?
But if you are, going off the deep end with ISIS and you start getting into that realm, they probably are going to watch you, but it's probably something that triggers that. Certain
Keywords.
Sites, certain places that you're going to, that you're doing. You're not just going to be able to just go to Facebook and they're going to be able to find you, unfortunately.
Right, because with today, we have so many different platforms where people can post their thoughts on Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a video on Instagram. You could do so many different things on so many different platforms.
Right.
It's kind of hard to keep track of what person is doing what on what social site.
I mean, it's tough, man. And these platforms are worldwide. And, they would have to be on top of these people. And it would, to me, if every single person that said something stupid, the police was at their door, that'll be communistic to me.
Right.
I mean, it's a tough situation in a country where we live, where free speech is number one. It's kind of hard to arrest everybody that says something stupid.
Yep.
But what's the next story?
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into our other stories this week. Donald Trump this week, he will be facing his sentencing for his hush money case in New York.
Yeah.
Just 10 days before his return to the White House. On Friday, Judge Juan Merchan scheduled Trump's sentencing for January 10th.
Mm-hmm.
But he also said Trump will not be thrown behind bars.
It's I don't know, man. To me, it's just another case of the rich people never pay for anything they do. Just like with Biden and his son. I mean, I know that Congress was being very political going after Biden's son, but at the same time, man, they never pay for it. Rich people never. They could just pay their way out of everything.
Yep.
Trump. I mean, I believe this with everything, that he wanted to get into office because he knew that he was going to lose these cases. He knew that he had a chance to go to jail. And if
he wanted to avoid jail time at all costs.
And if he wasn't the president, he may be facing jail time.
He would have went to jail.
But what does it says for us as a people that we are okay with convicting a criminal? What does that say for us? What does that say for us as people, man? I mean, straight up. We voted for a straight up criminal, man, who paid for a prostitute and was found guilty, man. I don't know, man. I've lost all hope for a lot of people, man.
He said it's embarrassing. We got two justice systems.
And
it kind of seems like we do have two justice systems, doesn't it?
You would be exactly right. Because the system is, and then the thing is, Illinois, they decided to take away the bail system because it's so much helps just rich people and not poor people that they thought the system was unfair. So they would decide per case on who gets out of jail, not just the amount of money you have. Baya 1966, tell me which politician hasn't done shit that Trump's done. Please don't be a hypocrite. Huh? I don't know of any politicians that's been found guilty of hush money payments to a prostitute. I'm sorry.
Trump was the first one that I know of.
The first one that I've heard of. He is the first. I'm not being a hypocrite. Dude, one thing about Habari Entertainment.
Unless we want to talk about Matt Gaetz.
It's all about the truth. I may not agree with some things, but what happens, happens. I am not going to try to change the story just because I'm not a Donald Trump fan. Whatever the truth is, if we had, the closest would be Bill Clinton for cheating on his wife, but it wasn't a hush money situation.
Right. He didn't pay her to be quiet.
Right. So
in fact, he got impeached.
But to believe that this is the same party, the Republican Party, who has put Trump in front of them for their face, are the people that wanted to get Bill Clinton out of office and impeach him.
Right.
That is crazy. These are the same people, man. Oh, he cheated on his wife and he lied about it. We want him out of there. And
but lying about having sex with a prostitute while married, mind you.
Okay.
But that's okay.
That's fine.
That's okay.
That's cool.
Donald Trump did it. He's married. The prostitute paid for it and then paid her off and said, hey, no, don't talk about this in public.
Right. That's cool.
That's cool.
But
having oral sex behind your wife's back, that's oh no. Oh, we got morals now.
That's what I'm saying. The moral, they can never use that again. So by your 1966, you can give that up, man. Anybody who's being hypocritical, I would say the Republican Party, because they used to be the party of morals and values, and they have thrown all that out the window for Donald Trump. They don't care about no value, no morals at all anymore. At all. And I think, Donald Trump was still mad, seething mad online because he's still going to be found guilty on this case.
Yep.
He thought that because he became president, this
case was going to go
thrown out because the other cases were.
Yep.
The other judges decided, hey, he's the president now, just throw it out. Like, now this is trash, man. He should not be able to get away with this shit just because he's the president.
Right.
They let Nixon go. They let Reagan go when he had the Iran-Contra. Oh, he just acted, I don't know what's going on. Get the fuck out of here. You knew that the drug deals was going on, that these dudes were selling drugs to help the Contra. We know that.
Right.
Watergate with Nixon. They all got pardons. That's what happens every time these people are crooks, man. And they just get away with it and go home. It's not fair. I jaywalking, I'm getting tickets and shit. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
Shorts MD, who the gives about buying pussy? The economy was way better. You guys must be some sort of most misfortune.
Boo.
Fortunate ones. Y'all live in a parallel world.
Dog. It's illegal. That's why. He can't be the president and he's doing illegal things. You're going to say just blow it off, dude, doing it. Buying pussy is illegal, my brother. So for you to say,
because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have Diddy's case.
Man, this dude is Diddy. He is Diddy.
Right.
Trump doing Diddy things, and we're okay with it. He was on the island.
Right.
Was he not on the island?
He was on Jeffrey Epstein Island.
All right. Was he not on there? And we don't care, man. We put this dude in charge and go on with our life. Man, the economy was better under Trump because we were coming off Obama's economy. When you're that's what I meant. It's like it's one thing when you're running a rant, but when you say that you're a terrorist supporter with ISIS, come on, man. Man. For real, man. You have to think about what you're saying when you're talking about how the economy was better under Trump. Like it takes a couple years
It takes at least 2 to 3
2 to
years.
3 years for their ideas to come into place.
Yep.
His tax cuts for his homies and all his tariffs and everything like that. We were able to see those issues once he started leaving, because that's when the problems from what his policies were put in place will be seen.
Yep.
We were still seeing Obama's policies during Trump's first 2 or 3 years. That last year he was in office, when we were losing jobs every day,
Right.
and inflation started going, that's Trump's economy. That's the crap that he put in place.
Right.
Biden didn't change a lot of the things, and I disagree with Biden on a lot. He didn't take the tariffs off. He didn't do anything about illegal immigration. I agree, man. Biden didn't do a lot of good things, man. I'm not going to sit here and stand up here and act like Biden was just terrific. He did some things that I thought that he could have did better. But can I blame all inflation on him? No. It's on the last 2 presidents. Both of them had 1 term.
Yep.
So, I just, what I'm saying, it's
I mean, it's crazy.
I disagree with you though, brother. We live in the same world, man. We just interpret this stuff differently because you are a MAGA man. The same situation happened with the Oath Keepers when they killed that black cop in Oakland and tried to blame it on the protesters. Facebook had a heads up on that. Yeah, man. I mean, we have to be even across the board. We can't let some people be caught for these things and some people able to get off. We have to make sure that we are being fair on these things. If he was caught on Facebook, then Facebook should be, you right. They should be all the way.
Yep.
For everyone.
Monitoring.
They should be monitoring everyone. If they're going to turn in that guy, then they should definitely turn in the other guy who posted some definitely things.
They should.
So I agree. It definitely should be fair.
Right. Moving on. This week, Louisiana Republican Mike Johnson was reelected House Speaker on a first vote, overcoming skepticism about his leadership from his party. Johnson did clinch the vote after 2 lawmakers who initially voted against him changed their minds and voted for him.
I don't know what it says about their party, man, but it doesn't seem like the Republican Party is on the same page.
It doesn't. It seems like they're very discombobulated.
Yeah, man. I don't think that they don't care. Some of these guys don't care what Trump says. Some of them are all about Trump, but some of them they're not.
They're not all Trump loyalists.
They're not MAGAs. And the thing is that the Republican Party used to have standards.
Right.
What they believed in, low taxes, small government. Right now, Trump, he agrees with who's ever in the room. Mm-hmm. Who's ever's around, that's who he agrees with. And Elon Musk coming into the party is changing things. And a lot of
that's where the infighting is coming
definitely,
in.
The real Republicans who have been there since the 80s and 90s, they don't agree with this new way of being of MAGA and the way they're governing.
Right.
So it's going to be a lot of infighting. I do not think they will get a lot done because they didn't get a lot done under Biden when they had control, because they were fighting amongst each other the whole time.
And speaking about Biden, a lot of people said that Biden he didn't keep any of his promises, right?
Yeah, Biden did some things that he kept some promises.
He blocked the nearly $15 billion proposed deal for Nippon Steel, which is a Japan purchase to purchase the Pittsburgh-based U.S. Steel, which affirmed his earlier vow as a president on his presidential campaign to prevent the acquisition of Steeltown USA's most storied steel company.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not educated enough on this deal and what it means for the workers. I do know that Biden was the most union president ever.
He walked with them on strike.
Yeah, so I mean, I do understand that giving a company like U.S. Steel to China is that's a big deal, man.
That's a big deal.
This company built America. It made America.
Right.
These are the things that
they supplied most of our steel.
Right. I mean, and that football teams named after the Steelers and the pride that we had
Right.
and the work that was being done. It's hard to just give it up to somebody else. But I also see the view of the workers who are saying that the money is not being invested into the steel companies. So
Like it should.
right, so the workers are not getting paid that like they should be. The infrastructure of the company is not
It's
as good
dwindling.
as it should be. And Nippon promised that they would make these things
They
better.
would come
Right.
in and up make some
I
upgrade.
can see both sides and why both sides are frustrated on this situation. But you see why Biden said, well, we can't let China get this. It's a big thing against China, man, right now.
Yep.
But somebody has to invest money in these companies. We can't just let these companies falter, block them from being sold to a company that promised that they would do better, and then we don't do better as when we block this purchase.
Right.
We're going to have to make sure that U.S. Steel is taken care of, and we put some investment dollars into U.S. Steel to make sure that they are doing well and making sure that the company is growing, because this is such an important company to American history and America.
Right.
So I hope that we do things better, and that we can meet on the same level and make sure that U.S. Steel is taken care of. Let's read a couple of comments real fast here.
It
I think
says
it's
Trump sentencing was a smoke signal.
yes.
High hopes. We as a society use
You can put
this
them on the
as a
screen.
teachable moment in history and do better going forward.
Yes. I agree.
Shorts MD said, come on, y'all. Those immigrants were taking black people jobs and white people jobs. It was a effing invasion, and the Democrats just couldn't give less of a.
I mean, I I disagree, man. I disagree. I just don't think that immigrants are taking black and white jobs. I think the people that are taking jobs are the H-1B visas that are taking the engineering, the high
Our
paying
STEM jobs.
Those are the jobs that matter. The jobs that people from that are illegals are taking, unfortunately, they're
Agriculture.
low wage jobs, man.
Mhm.
And to say that they're black jobs, I like that you added white jobs there, because if you just said black jobs, I would have put you in the Trump category, because we aren't the only ones that are just doing low wage jobs. We haven't worked low wage jobs in 40, 50 years. Now in some areas they are, but most people aren't working these jobs, man. You need a job that's a little bit, that has a little bit of education, and you're learning a little bit. Those are the jobs that people want today. I don't know what jobs you guys are working, man, but if it's being taken by immigrants, you probably should go back to school. I don't know. Shit.
That's true.
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't want to be unsympathetic on situations like that, because there's a lot of people who can't afford to go to school. But with those jobs are not being taken. Those are not top notch jobs that people are trying to.
Right.
They're working low wage jobs, bro. I mean, you have to be educated to get the jobs that's going to get you to 80 to 70 to $100,000 jobs. You're not going to get that at McDonald's,
Unless you know somebody that can get you in.
Yeah, I mean, we know the nepotism is number one.
Right.
But
anywho, moving on. I
am a Republican, and I stand for the original values of the Republican Party for the most part. But this is not it, man. I have to 100% agree with you. I felt as though I could have discussions with Republicans, and we could talk about things that we saw eye to eye on. I felt as though that the Republicans from the early 2000s, they cared about the country. The Republicans from the 90s, they cared about America. It seems like now it's just a whole bunch of hate towards other Americans. And the direction that the party is going is crazy to me. We don't have the ideology, conversations like we used to. I used to love talking to people who were just not talking about DEI and
right.
I hate immigrants. And now it's just a whole bunch of one-liners that they saying. Nobody is talking about things that we can do to make the country different. It used to just be differences of opinions and which way that we wanted to fix the country. Now it's just a whole bunch of people yelling and hating each other. I don't understand how this is making it any better, man. I don't look at Republicans and say, oh, they're evil people. That's not the way it used to be. But now it's like this fight of racism and DEI and black people suck and immigrants suck. And this is not the Republican Party that I remember.
Carl said, yeah, because if you look up the convictions for sexual convictions of Republicans and Democrats from the 1980s until now, there is something really wrong with the Republican Party.
Hey, man. I hate to agree with things like that, but it seems like the party likes to be, they hold morals high. So it's kind of hard to be yourself in the party sometimes when morals are set so high. That's why, they have things like hating gays. And then you find out that the person who was pushing anti-gay agenda was caught in the bathroom.
Right.
And there's been many Republicans that's been caught like that. Because they're these high morals instead of just being yourself. You probably should have been a Democrat and nobody would have tripped. You know what I'm saying? But,
probably so.
but you went with the party with they're saying high morals. So it's a hard situation, man.
Said, why would he appoint Matt Gaetz? Matt Gaetz, man, like Trump appointed Matt Gaetz knowing about his sex trafficking, and what is it about Florida?
Florida wild, bro. Matt Gaetz,
really
Matt Gaetz, that was a disgrace, man. You can't put that man up. That man, I'm happy that they made sure that he didn't get in there, because that's just, come on, man. Respect. I respect that, short MD. That's what we're trying to do, man. We might be left leaning, but I care about America. And I'm not one of these people who just want to hate on the party just to hate. I like to have good discussions with people who want to bring the America to the place where we all feel good about being an American, not just certain groups. Morals are high when it comes to certain people, not everyone. I don't know, man. Not many of us can stand on the whole moral ground nowadays. I just want us all to be aware that some of us are different, and it's okay to be different, and we should still love each other no matter how we agree or disagree about how other people live their lives. As long as you're not hurting anyone, I still love you as an American, and that's what we're about, man. I don't want to judge people for how they live their life. I want to judge you by how you treat people and your character, and if you love others, man, and that's what matters to me.
Yep. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen no video about P. Diddy and Trump, man.
You have to send us to that. Moving on.
Just go.
As of January 1st, 2025, a new off-roading safety rule is now in effect for Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you register your off-highway vehicle, or OHV, you will also have to pass an online safety course.
Dang.
The online safety course is a 10-minute video followed by a multiple choice quiz, and at least one owner needs to complete this test.
You don't have to do any actual driving?
It says the course only needs to be done once.
Okay.
Regardless of how many off-highway vehicles you own.
Okay.
The safety course is run by ADOT and the DMV, but it is separate from safety courses run by the Arizona Game and Fish Department,
right, that
are recommended but not required.
They should be required too. A lot of people get hurt out there messing with those things, man.
And that's exactly why this off-highway vehicle rule is now in place.
Yeah, man.
Because during the pandemic, a lot of people were saying, okay, well, we're in a house, right? We can't do anything. So let's go outside. Let's be in nature. Let's go off-roading. And a bunch of inexperienced drivers are getting out there now, and they're having all these accidents.
Right.
There have been almost 200 accidents this year.
Wow. That is something that a lot of people don't focus on.
Last year, there were 155 accidents, and 25 of them were deadly. So it really is put in place to help us when you're doing off-roading.
Yeah, some people will lose their minds over this, but I think it's the right thing, man. If you're going to be off-roading, you should prove that you can handle off-road driving. and it should be some laws and some rules put in place. It
Right.
can't just be
Right.
ruleless and
Now
everybody
you
just
have
going
to
out there.
you got to actually register the vehicle, the off-road vehicle, to have it's got to have a license plate that states that this is an off-highway vehicle. So you have to go through all of those steps to get it.
Yeah, man. So that's your last one?
No, we got a couple more here. I was just reading some comments. Sorry. So the next one we got is that, a lot of people start their food business in their homes.
Yeah.
Right? But in Arizona, there are restrictions on what you can and cannot sell from your home. So food vendors across the state are now able to expand
What they
their
can sell.
menus under the new law that allows home cooks to prepare food, including meat, in their kitchens and offer it for sale.
Yeah.
HB 2042, commonly known as the Tamale Bill, requires made-at-home foods to be packaged with a label that lists who prepared it, when it was made. It also requires the ingredient list.
Okay.
So these are going to be things that home cooks are going to now be able to do.
That's crazy.
I saw this one lady, her food truck blew up, caught
so she
fire.
had to start working from her house.
So she had to start working from her house.
Right.
So she turned her backyard patio into a kitchen and opened up her side gate and said, "This is where you can come in and get your food."
Probably saves you some money too. Shit.
It really does, because I mean, you're not paying for gas for the food truck,
Right?
So I mean, it kind of does
Yeah.
weigh out a little bit. But so now we'll start seeing what other types of foods home cooks will start selling from their homes and adding to their menus.
Hey, people just trying to make ends meet, man. And if it's a hustle and you're trying to do it the right way, most people just go under the table, don't even tell you that they selling this stuff from their homes.
But here's the catch. If you are selling from your home, you are required to take a food safety course.
Yeah.
And you must register with the Arizona Department of Health Services.
Yeah, because they say, regardless of what, man, if you go out and eat at these trucks, man, you want to make sure you look for that symbol to make sure that you are working with a company that has taken the steps that they are doing what needs to be done.
Not your business. That is a great way to encourage small businesses and to help boost the economy.
And that's what it's about, man. We want people to live their dreams in America. You want to have a way to be able to say, hey, this is what I love to do, and a way to do that. That's what we're about.
And this is a safe way that I can do that. I'm registered with the Department of Health. I'm registered. I have my food handler's card. I have my food safety course completed. Right now, I'm going to start offering these meals at this price for you.
I mean, I love it, man. That's what America's about, man. Enterprise building and creating ways for people to add to the economy and build something great for themselves and for their kids for the future.
Exactly. And another thing that a lot of us are doing nowadays is, there's non-alcoholic beverages, there's alcoholic beverages, but now there's a thing where you can make your own alcohol. They're giving you ways to do it at home, right? They have the whiskey infusion kits.
Right.
People are using 5-gallon water jugs and they're using mashed fruit to make wine and things like that. So now the U.S. Surgeon General is telling us that there should be a warning label on alcoholic beverages.
For cancer?
For cancer. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy proposed on Friday that given the research and evidence mounts about the bad effects that alcohol has on human health.
Yeah.
But his proposal for the label would require a rare approval from U.S. Congress. So Americans should be better informed about the link between alcohol consumption and cancer.
Well, I mean, education is the best way to keep people from making mistakes. Many people probably didn't know the connections between alcohol and cancers. I've lost a lot of people, man, from alcohol in my life, and you hope that people can learn off, but a lot of people don't know, man. They think it's just partying, and
exactly.
And it's probably a good thing that to put a warning out there, man.
Yeah, I mean, Murthy argued, that alcohol consumption is to blame for nearly 1 million preventable
shit.
cancer cases in the U.S. over the last 10 years.
I mean, like I say, man, alcohol is fun, man. It's fun to have a couple drinks, and it opens you up. And
That's true.
But
when you have staggering numbers like
yeah, man,
20,000 people are
Right.
dying every year from
Mhm.
alcohol-related cancer cases,
yeah, you got to do something.
this is pretty alarming.
Yeah,
And consuming alcohol does raise the risk of developing at least 7
and
types
colon cancer
of
is one of
cancer,
them. I didn't know that.
including liver,
Liver, definitely.
breast,
Yeah,
and throat cancers.
damn, I didn't know that either.
Mhm.
Hey man, it's crazy. But these are things that can be prevented if we are educated. We would know to drink less and to not go overboard. And as a kid, we all get we
You see all the
partying
adults, they're having fun, they're
Right.
drinking,
and I
they're
definitely used to indulge.
socializing, and they're
Mhm.
partying, having a good time, right? And that's
Yeah.
what we as kids, we're like, oh, I want to be like them.
Right. So I mean, it's tough, man. But hopefully this helps. I know some people don't care, but some people will. Maybe some people will take changes in their life, for they can be around for a little while.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
man. Let's get into some comic books.
Oh,
Yeah,
we got a few more. Let's go with.
a few more what stories?
Oh, it's not even here.
Hollywood Hot Mess ain't
Yeah,
there?
no, it's not.
All
But
right.
anyway, we'll move on into it anyway. All right, guys.
I wonder why I didn't upload.
I don't know. Who knows?
No,
Anyway,
that's sports. You're right.
no, that's sports. This week there was a lot going on in Hollywood. 2 stories kind of stood out to me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but this one I thought was absolutely hilarious. I read it, I looked at it, and I was like, "Who the fuck would do some shit like that?" All right. So anyway, Joe Budden was charged with lewdness after an incident in his apartment building. The rapper and media personality was charged on December 4th after a neighbor allegedly saw him standing completely naked in the hallway of their New Jersey apartment building. The moment was caught on camera, doorbell camera, according to the press release issued by the Edgewater Police Department on December 30th.
You're about to get roasted.
Officials arrived on the scene after they were informed of the alleged incident around 7:21
he's
in the morning.
He's walking outside of his apartment
In broad daylight,
butt naked.
booty butt naked.
Was he? Yeah. It's gotta be-
According to the resident, Joe Budden tried to enter a passcode on the door keypad several times before he was like, all right, I give up. And he returned to his own apartment across the hall.
What the hell? Maybe he was drunk and had the wrong place.
Dude had to be super drunk.
Yeah, he was messed up.
He had to be.
Maybe it's some drugs involved.
He came out of his apartment booty bucket naked and decided, I'm going to go do. I can't get in. All right, I'm just going to go back over here. At 7, this is not even 7:30 in the morning.
It's in the middle of the day. You messed up. I don't get it, bro. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know on that, man. That's crazy. Joe Budden tripping out there. I don't know. But I know he got a podcast. He about to get roasted.
And he said it was going to keep on going.
Yeah.
They wasn't going to stop him from doing the podcast. He was going to keep on doing it.
Yeah, but he about to get roasted. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
What's
that's
the other
crazy.
one? What's the other one you got? Joe Budden crazy.
Jay-Z's attorney said that there were a bunch of holes in the rape lawsuit against Jay-Z.
Yeah, we
and he's
know that.
looking to have the case thrown out.
Yeah.
Right? So according to the new documents that were obtained by TMZ, Alex Shapiro, the lawyer representing Jay-Z, said that he's gearing up to file a motion to dismiss the lawsuit against him, claiming that the statute that Jane Doe is suing under didn't even take effect until after the alleged sexual assault happened. Thus, this lawsuit is null and void, saying that this cannot be applied against the rapper retroactively, since the the law, it was some type of law that went into place, right?
Right.
And the law went into place in like December.
Mm-hmm.
And the incident happened a few months
Are
prior
they
to
talking
that.
about the New York law that allowed people to sue for old cases?
I think so.
Okay. I mean, one thing I can say about the way Jay-Z is handling this, and the way that Diddy handled it is totally different. Bro seems to be more educated about the law and the way public thinks about the law and how these cases are going. I don't know, bro. You try to get some Fred Joe out there tripping. Oh man, but I do want to say that Jay-Z has went about this very very differently than what how Diddy handled his.
Very.
And this is the reason why Diddy is in jail, because
And Jay-Z's sitting at home with his
right.
wife and kids.
And Diddy just didn't handle it well. You got to come to the public and say and say some things, even if it's through a lawyer. You have to release some statements about what's going on. He just kept it on the low and then paid old girl, but never
and
said
then came
anything.
out with the Instagram video apologizing.
Right. So that, I mean, instead of going through a lawyer at all times when you're talking about this,
I'm gonna make a statement myself.
That was bad. And even in that
you
statement,
just
people
implicated yourself, bro.
right, people found holes in the statement that he even said, and people, they're gonna go off your body language and all this other stuff. People are gonna tear that video apart,
and they did.
So he
and they mocked him.
He just did a horrible job, man, and that's why he's sitting behind bars, because I don't think he went at this head on the way he was supposed to, and he made himself look like a crook. So
he did.
So on to the last story here. What I got? Sports here.
We got sports and comics.
All right, man. We're gonna get up out of here. But let's go ahead and do sports real fast. We're gonna dive into the hot topics this week of sports. Welcome back to run Habari Sports for me.
Yes, that's what I was trying to tell you. Hold on.
Habari Sports.
Welcome back to Habari Live. It's time for Habari Sports, where we break down the latest and the greatest in the sports world. We've got a packed segment today, so let's dive right in and get this over with. Try to get up out of here. So we got Bryce James. He's coming to Arizona, man. The big news in college basketball: Bryce James, son of the NBA legend LeBron James and younger brother of Lakers rookie Bronny James, has committed to play for the University of Arizona Wildcats. This is a move that's caught many by surprise, but it makes sense when you break it down. Bryce, currently ranked as a 3-star prospect and the number 47 shooting guard in the class of 2025, doesn't come with the same hype as his father or brother, but Coach Tommy Lloyd sees potential in him. Bryce brings a unique skill set to Tucson, and joining a program like Arizona could help him grow in ways we might not expect. So let us know, man, people out there, what are your expectations for Bryce? Well, and what do you think about him down in Arizona? They're saying they don't think he's going to dominate from day one, but with the right development, he could carve out his legacy separate from his famous family. And for Arizona, landing a James is a huge recruiting splash, bringing national attention and energy to the program. I definitely agree with that, man. Wildcats made a big signing for the school, and to just bring the school to the national conversation, man. Would you rather have a gay son or a daughter who only like what is wrong with you, man? Get out of here with that racist shit, man.
Right. Carl said, yeah, I truly believe that you do need to prove that you can drive off-road and prove that you have the safety tools and equipment to operate
I agree with you, brother. We can't just think that everybody going to know what they do off-roading, man, and just hope that they come home. We have to do something to make sure that these people are doing the right thing.
It's just like a regular vehicle. You have to drive your regular vehicle, so you need to have some sort of safety.
And just because you can drive on the streets don't mean that you can drive off-roading. And most people think that they can, but you have to be able to prove those things. You have to prove you can ride a motorcycle. You should prove that you can drive in those environments.
Yep.
That's just bottom line. So man, let's get to the Suns real fast, man. The Suns, they on a 3-game losing streak. I think we got the Pacers coming up next. Um, I don't know, man. The Suns just, oh my goodness, man. They're just they struggling, bro. Plain and simple. They are on a 3-game losing streak and have dropped 6 of their last 7 right now. They're sitting at 11th place in the Western Conference, 2 games under 500. Dog, Kevin Durant has been doing his part, averaging about over 32 points per game during this rough stretch, but Devin Booker groin injury has been a major step back. Booker returned Tuesday, but shot just 4 from 20 from the field. He admitted his frustration and emphasized the need to fix these issues before the All-Star break. This team has too much talent to be this inconsistent, man. I just don't get it. Why do we suck, bro? I don't get it. I mean, damn, we got Kevin Durant, Booker. Why are we trash? I don't understand this new NBA, man. With the trade line approaching, could the Suns make a move to shake things up? They have been in the rumor mill for getting Jimmy Butler. We don't know because we got Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal has a no trade law clause. How can Bradley Beal isn't even that good to have a no trade clause? It doesn't make any sense. Why did we even trade for him? We never should have traded for dude. And for him to have a no trade clause and make all this money and dude ain't never even led a team to the playoffs, I really don't get it. I really don't. Bro does not deserve it, man. The Suns, man, I used to try to back up Kevin Durant, man. But, man, dude, it's getting tough, man. Bro can't lead a team. I mean, he's from New Jersey to Oklahoma City to now to Phoenix, and they all mediocre teams, bro. Bro, I mean, he is at 35, but 35, Mike was still winning championships. I don't want to compare him to Michael Jordan, but damn. Bro, I mean, he's getting points, man, but when it comes to wins, it doesn't seem like we're not getting the wins. The Suns suck. And KD's out there. And you're not making your teammates better, bro. You get mad at Charles Barkley and them when they go in on you and you want to be pissed off because they said something about you. But, bro, it seems like it's true, man. You can't lead a team. The way you're doing things and you've been doing things your career, it doesn't equal wins. I'm a Suns fan, and that's why it's pissing me off, man. You think we get Kevin Durant? We traded away good players that now we just got this dude who scored a lot of points and we lose every night. Like, we went to the championship before this dude got there. You would think that this would build on what we had, but we're just losing. The Suns super suck, man. You know, Jimmy Butler, he's been suspended by the Heat, and some people think that this is not going to really help us to get Jimmy Butler. But his drama in Miami has got him suspended by the Heat for conduct detrimental to the team. Reports suggest Butler's dissatisfaction with the franchise has reached a boiling point, and he publicly stated that he may never find happiness on the court while in Miami. The suspension has sparked rumors of a trade with the Suns emerging as a potential destination. Now imagine this, Jimmy Butler teaming up with Durant. I don't even know if that would even help. Straight up. I mean, for real, man. It's tough, man. I don't even know. Dude sucks. Durant and Booker, man, you got to play some defense, man. Could be a game changer in Phoenix. I'm not really, I don't know. Bringing the grit and leadership to the team that we need. I definitely think we need leadership because Booker and Durant is not it. Butler isn't as easily a personality to manage. He's not easy to manage. And the Suns would have to weigh the risk and rewards of bringing him into the fold. So let us know, Suns fans, what you think. Should we roll the dice on Butler, or is it too big of a gamble? Now let's wrap up this edition of sports, man. We talked about Bryce James and Tucson, the Suns' struggles, and Butler's drama. Let's get into the comic book corner real fast.
Comic Book Corner. Sponsored by
Corner, where we take a deep dive into the stories, the characters, and the culture surrounding the world of comics. I'm your host, Damon Dipling Ellison, like always. And today we're tackling a hot topic that's sparking debate once again. We're going to talk about the what if. Um, so, well, I don't know. I really like What If. I thought it was really good. And I thought that what they were doing is, it's different with What If. Um, Season 3, and we're also going to talk about Creature Commandos. But let's kick things off with What If. Aisha, this show has used to be such a standout. uh I really don't know what's happened to What If.
You're right. Season 1 was incredible, but because it expanded on the MCU stories that we love and added depth to the fan favorite characters. But now, season 3, it just felt so disconnected and out of balance. Like it just kind of lost its magic.
Yeah, agreed. Don't get me wrong, the animation is top notch. I really love what they're doing with the animation. Watching Celestials battle with Mecha Avengers take on Giant Hulk is awesome and works so well in this medium, but storytelling wise, it's not hitting the same, man.
Yeah, you're right. Not Your Business said Go Lions. Had to throw some football out there real quick before you guys moved on from sports.
Hey man, I hope the
Pops
Lions
would
go
have
to the
loved
man.
the Lions this year.
Hey, my uncle-in-law would have loved it.
Birthday was yesterday.
Yeah,
He would have
man.
loved it.
Yeah, man. And I hope the Lions go to the Super Bowl, man. I hope they win it, man, because they just never have, and the city of Detroit deserves something to be happy about.
They
It's
do.
such a miserable fucking city. But anyway,
You're right. Marvel feels like they're kind of playing it safe
mhm.
when it comes to What If. And, it's just, to me, I'm just not really feeling it. They're trying to play it safe. They're trying to do a lot of things, right?
Mhm.
They're avoiding certain characters
Right.
that could actually resonate with some of us fans.
Yeah.
And, the Watcher's role, while it was interesting,
Mhm.
the emotional core from the first season, I felt was missing.
Yeah, man, it's like you're saying, the first season, it seems like it connected more to what they were doing. What if the Black Panther was picked to be the Star-Lord instead of Star-Lord?
Star-Lord, right.
It was things that we felt like we could really connect with. And I think that this time in the seasons 2 and 3, it's been more of a broad example of
Right.
what if. It's a bigger things. What if Howard the Duck and Darcy had a baby,
Right.
and that baby became like it's so big. It's not just quick questions. What if Black Panther became Star-Lord? That's it. It's so huge. What if Darcy and Donald Duck, Howard the Duck, had a baby, and that baby became a warrior in the future and
Right.
hooked up? Like, what the fuck, dog? Like,
Right.
it's insane.
Exactly.
So
and I really, honestly, I didn't like the fact that they brought back Sharon Carter as
she's been everywhere.
Right. She's been in
She's-
every single season since
every
they
season.
showed her.
Every season.
And they should
Then
not
she's
have
been
done
in the
that.
movies. She's had a lot as this character, man. So
Right.
maybe in the end it has something that
Maybe she does actually become Captain America.
I don't know.
Did she
man.
actually get the serum?
I mean, in that storyline,
In that
she did.
storyline, she did, but
Right. But what I'm saying is maybe it connects the overall multiverse story, and she's at the end has something to do
maybe
with
she
helping
was
this.
at one point in her life a reincarnate of this person.
Oh, I don't know. Too
I don't know.
But
Because
anyway,
they do got multiverses as different
I understand that. But
variants of that person.
I'm just saying
so.
that hopefully this story ends up being important, because we've watched her so much. What is it going to be? So
Exactly.
it's still fun, and it's not living up to its potential. Now let's talk about the Creature Commandos. James Gunn's latest DC project. I'll admit it's been a roller coaster. Episode 6, focusing on Dr. Phosphorus, was probably one of the better episodes so far.
I have to agree with you. Phosphorus was a standout. His tragic backstory, his powers, and the way that he became what he
Mhm.
hates
Right.
was fascinating.
Yeah.
Plus, being taken down by Batman. That was ironic.
Yeah. And for sure, I've liked it, but it seems like the rest of the show it's been kind of all over the place. Gunn's writing often feels more focused on pushing a message than creating a coherent story. Why does Pokalistan suddenly have this massive army when they couldn't handle Cersei's group in the first place.
Right.
It's kind of weird, they're able to
Yep.
handle the creature commandos,
Yep.
but they needed them to come in to help them. I thought they didn't have an army. It was just those one couple dudes. Now this
Yep.
army is deep as hell, and the creature commandos, like, oh goodness, why do they even need their help? So I don't know. That was kind of confusing.
Then there's Nina. Why is she even on the team?
I don't know.
Her character just feels so
Man,
pointless.
Go throw her in the water somewhere. Why is she there, bro?
And Frank the Simp, he's funny, but do we need every single character to feel like they are a
character of themselves, right?
Even Batman's portrayal was off, and he kind of looked like he was out of shape.
Gunn's humor lands sometimes, but the lack of balance hurts the show sometimes. Creature Commandos has cool ideas, but fumbles with the executions of some of the moves.
I mean, you're right. And What If Season 3? It was visually stunning, but the story just felt disconnected. But both shows do have the potential, but aren't quite delivering.
So I don't know, man. I'm just going to lastly, before we go, man, I want to talk about something I've been dealing with online, man. And it's just a couple minutes. I know we have a long show today, but Spider-Man released his new the new Spider-Man series by Disney, and a lot of people have been debating about race swapping, because Harry Osborn and his father was, what is it? No, I think the father Norman and the son Harry. Yeah, they were black on this series, and a lot of people are pissed off because they see a black face in a cartoon, and it's really, really, man, it's just crazy to see so many people online talking about DEI, why this show's gonna fail. Let's talk about the race swapping in media. The release of Disney's new Spider-Man series, and why the backlash is steeped in more than just preference. It's rooted in racism. All right, folks, here's the deal. Disney just released images from their latest Spider-Man cartoon, and the Osborns, Norman and Harry, are depicted as black characters. Predictably, the internet exploded. A vocal racist minority threw a fit, dragging out the usual tired lines: race swapping is ruining Disney, go woke, go broke, DEI is destroying entertainment, and so on. So let's unpack this, because the layers of hypocrisy here are just unbelievable. The hypocrisy of race swapping criticism here. The funny thing about these critics, the same people clutching their pearls over the Osborns being black, seem to have no problem when white actors play characters of color, and when the entire cultures are appropriated in films. Let's run through some of these films real fast. The Human Stain in 2003, Anthony Hopkins, a white man, played a black professor. These are real people, not fictional cartoons. Real people. Anthony Hopkins played a black professor who passes as white. In Mighty Heart 2007, Angelina Jolie portrayed Marina Pearl, a black French-Cuban woman, and even darkened her skin for the world. Prince of Persia 2010, Jake Gyllenhaal played a Persian prince. The list goes on and on. When Hollywood does this, it's this way. It's called artistic or interpretation. But when a black actor is cast and an established character, suddenly it's the end of the world. Come on, man. We got to get over this. Why representation matters. Representation isn't just about checking boxes. It's about opening doors and letting people see themselves in stories like Spider-Man. Spider-Man has always been a character who resonates with the underdog, the outsider. Making the Osborn black doesn't detract from their legacy. It enriches Norman Osborn as a ruthless businessman, Harry as a conflicted heir. The roles take on even a deeper significance when layered with the realities of being black in America. Let's not forget Miles Morales, a black Puerto Rican Spider-Man, once met with the same resistance, and now he's one of the most beloved characters in the franchise. People fear change, but change is what keeps stories alive. The thinly veiled racism, and let's call this what it is, it's racism. People aren't mad about accuracy or artistic integrity. They're mad because they hate to see black people in spaces they feel they were entitled to. The anger isn't just about cartoons, it's about control. As a culture, we've seen this play out time and time again, whether it's in casting, corporate leadership, or simply existing in spaces historically dominated by white people. The backlash about the resisting progress, to paraphrase when someone said, they hate to see us prosper. Closing thoughts at the end of the day. This backlash isn't new. It's the same playbook, just with different players. But here's the good news. Every step forward, every story told, every Black Osborne on screen, it all chips away at the resistance. And we're not stopping. Let me know your thoughts on this, man. Hit us up on social media, drop a comment, say, as always, stay loud, stay proud, and keep pushing for more inclusive world. This is Damon Dipling Ellison Simon signing off for the day. Until next time, keep reading, keep dreaming, and keep fighting for the stories that matters. Peace out. We enjoyed everybody coming on and talking. Peace.
Holla, holla.